TikTok is about to be banned. Are you aware? Okay, don't worry if you're Kenyan or African or I don't know which part of Asia you belong. However, if you are an American, this news is for you. TikTok is getting banned in the US. And this is because the two countries could not agree on selling. One, China would not agree on selling the shareholding to the US, or basically just allowing the Americans to operate all the necessities or all the offices and back end of TikTok that happens in the US. And so with that, they're saying this Sunday, which is the 19th, they are ready to end operations in the US. In the US currently, TikTok is used by about 170 million Americans, and the government of US is not moved by the numbers. They're moved by more what matters to them as a country than maybe how the citizens or the Americans generally benefit or use TikTok. So why the ban is happening is that President Joe Biden, who's the outgoing president, I think he only has actually this week left because Trump gets sworn in this week. So Biden last April signed a law that requires the company that owns a TikTok company to sell it to the US, the assets by January 19th, which should be on Sunday, or face a nationwide ban. But TikTok said, yo, we're Chinese. We ain't selling this. We're not buying to you. So that's never happening. And so officially, this is the last week that Americans are going to enjoy the application. So the ban, according to the US government, is aimed at protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act. And basically the US government says it has interest in preventing influence, like any foreign influence on TikTok, over its people and over the nation itself. So of course, if you know you run an app and you own everything, even the behind the scenes of it and what happens in the back end, it means you have power and you have control. And that is what Americans are saying, no, we will not take this thing will not go on like this. And so we have to end it. So now people are questioning the reasons given because that's the reason that America gave. But now the citizens and users of TikTok are questioning this. And they are citing issues such as influence and world dominance as a superpower being the reasons as to why the US wants to ban TikTok. So others are looking at the TikTok ban as a sign of that the next enemy of the US is probably China. Don't take it as gospel truth. This is one of the theories that they could be ensuring that nobody attacks them. And so in future, they want to ensure they remain as a superpower. Or if a world war ever comes up, maybe the next enemy of the US will be the Chinese. So that's another reason that's being cited. But basically, everyone who supports this theory says that the US is scared of the fact that China could be spying them using TikTok since they don't have the back-end information of what happens. So that's the main reason. Others say it's information control, which I personally go with this reason. Remember the guy, Louis Magion, who shot Brian Thompson, the healthcare CEO, and Americans were so happy and did so many videos on TikTok just saying how they look at him as a hero, especially young people. And you know, this now did not sit well with the government because the US government felt, there's no way people would be happy that someone who runs health insurance would be shot. And then instead of their citizens being angry about this, they were just happy about it and celebrating and saying, looking at him, now he's become a hero. Like he's a suspect, but he's a hero. So they were doing videos because they're so fed up with the government. And they use TikTok as a resistant app, or basically doing their demonstrations of how they feel on TikTok. And you know, on TikTok, basically you're able to share information and without having government control because it's not a US platform. So the government is not happy with that. So for me, I buy this theory that they're feeling there's a lot of unfiltered information that is shared and they're not happy with this. And the only way they will have control over what is shared within US and outside is when there are apps that they allow within can control the information that goes out. You see, like legacy medias like say CNN, Fox and all that, if they shared any information and the government is not happy, the government just calls you and tells you, yo, come here. This, you have to say it this way. Or like when that guy was killed, they wouldn't share much of the information or how people were happy about it. But Americans, on the other hand, just went on a platform and shared videos about it. So this open sharing of information does not sit well with Americans, and hence why I feel is why they want to ban. Number two, TikTok being a Chinese company, of course, it's controlled by China, hence American government has zero control. The fact that an app can operate in the US and they do not have back-end information, that does not sit well with basically Americans in general, because they consider themselves the world superpower and they want to maintain that status for as far as they can. And you know, China has grown in leaps and bounds in this area. So I think also that control of unfiltered back-end information does not sit well with them. Hence, they would not want that to go on. So now Americans, what are the options, you may wonder? And of course, there are many even Africans who may migrate, or even anyone else who wants just to test other applications. So what are the options? Number one, there's a common app that now everyone is downloading, especially these Americans who've left TikTok. It's called Red Note. And now Red Note has become the most downloaded alternative. So it's funny thing, it's also a Chinese application that works almost the same as the TikTok application. And the Americans who've moved from now TikTok, or rather who are migrating, are now calling themselves as TikTok refugees, because they were on an app where they have been forced to leave and now they have a new platform. So maybe you could also try out Red Note and tell us what you think about it. It's interesting. And the fun part is that the Chinese users are also teaching the English speakers some basic Mandarin language, because much of it is set up in Chinese. So it's going to be interesting to watch how this Red Note picks, and if indeed it does picks up and goes. So also, I feel the fact that every day there are emerging applications, it will be very hard for any government to fight this information war. Because now you can sit down and create an app and share it with the world. I mean, we've even seen it. This is not an American problem. Even here in Kenya, TikTok has been used to resist the government and even share videos of demonstrations. In fact, the Gen Z demos, part of it was organized using TikTok. So these are things that not just the American government is fighting, but governments across the world. Just the other day, they were saying they need to control how maybe Kenyans use social media space because of how they're using AI, and most leaders are not happy with that. So all we can do is wait and see how this goes with time. We have the whole of 2025, so it's an interesting season to see information and applications usage. So other people are looking at this as a war between Trump and the Biden administration, some saying that Biden, before he exists, because he's the one who signed this law, and it passes just a day before Trump becomes president officially. Some look at it as a way of Biden wanting to, make the administration of Trump very hard, because again, now people will not have some access to information, and just cause a instability between China and America. But they said that as it is, the Washington Post reported that Donald Trump, whose term begins a day after, which is on Monday, is considering issuing an executive order to suspend the enforcement of the shutdown for the next 60 to 90 days. And of course, knowing how Trump operates, because he's very opportunistic, he may pursue this to find a political resolution of the issue. Of course, China and US are the biggest trade partners. So these two would not want to hurt each other somehow, and they just have to find a way of working with each other. The Supreme Court is currently deciding whether to uphold the law and allow TikTok to be banned this Sunday, overturn the law altogether, or pause the law to give the court more time to make a decision. America is not the first country where TikTok was banned. In June 2020, India banned the application, and so up to date, Indians don't use TikTok, but most of them moved to Instagram. That's what it is. The people that have expressed interest in buying, I think you would want to know, is none other than Elon Musk himself. He's one of the billionaires who wants to buy this application. Would China consider selling it to him? It's a discussion that's going on. Not confirmed though, but he's one of the people who could buy this application. So that's it, and that's why that is happening, the ban. Kenyans especially, and fellow Africans who do the whole tap-tap thing, because I know a lot of lions and roses and whatever and guns come from America. I don't know how we're going to handle this. But it's a good time to watch and see, and yeah, that's it. So share with us what you think in the comment section, and also just tell us, are you migrating to Red Note, or what app are you choosing to move to as an American, or even as an African? What apps do you want to experiment, yeah? Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next episodes.